Hey, you're watching Vinyl 4 Miles, your best resource for music and audio gear reviews. Today is my top list of gear that I absolutely fell in love with at NAMM 2023. Stick around. Hey guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Michael. What we do here is audio gear, music gear, vinyl, pretty much anything having to do with my hobbies. I'm gonna bring you content. If that's something you're interested in, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the bell notification while you're at it so you don't miss out on future videos. All right, so I did attend NAMM 2023. I went for 2 days. I went from Friday and Saturday. I had to work on Thursday, so unfortunately I didn't get to go on the opening day. I did get myself a media badge, so I was able to film, explore, talk to the manufacturers. I do have some standout brands and standout gear, and I'm putting this into a top 10 list for you guys. So fair warning, there's gonna be a lot of guitar gear on here. So if you're a guitarist, you're in the right spot, or if you're interested in this type of gear, it's gonna be a very informative, fun video for you. So this list is in no particular order, but I'm gonna go ahead and start off with a pedal that really took me by surprise. I'm talking about the T-Rex Binson Echo Rec. Now this thing looks like it's from another planet, or it could be, I don't know, some kind of core engine for a spaceship. But what this thing actually does is replicate the tones of the greats like Pink Floyd's David Gilmour, and it uses a magnetic disc to record and replay guitar to you. Now there's all kinds of different heads on this, so it's an improved design from the original. As you can see in this video I took here, you can play back each one of those heads individually, and what this uses is a wire to record, so it's not a tape delay. It uses a flattened wire and a magnetic disc that spins around. It is insane. And now if this is something that you absolutely need to have, there are smaller versions of it that replicate the exact same sound, but they're digital. But if you want the real deal, it's not gonna be cheap. This will run you $2,100. But again, this is as close as you can possibly get to authentically recreating the delays of the greats like David Gilmour. Check it out, I'm gonna put a link below. All right, so the next piece of gear we're gonna be talking about here is the Kaizen 6-string from Ernie Ball Music Man. If you guys are familiar with Tosin Abasi, he actually has his own company called Abasi Concepts. Last year they introduced the Kaizen 7. Looked very genty, very proggy. What's cool about this is they're releasing a 6-string model, so those people who don't want to venture into the lower tunings or the heavier type of music that is utilized by 7 and 8-string guitars can actually pick up a 6-string version of it. It looks absolutely killer. The design on it is completely original. It is a multi-scale. It has these really cool tuners on it. I was able to demo it. It sounded great. It felt great. Oh my God. But it is very expensive. So if you're looking to pick up one of these guitars, it's going to cost you more than $3,000. I believe the price is currently set at $3,799. So get ready to pull your savings out if you want to pick up this model. So the next brand I'm putting on my list is Ibanez. I had a chance to get in Ibanez early. I checked out all of their new signature models, including the Steve Vai guitar that was $11,000. Don't get me wrong, the guitar was amazing. The craftsmanship was awesome on it. It was top notch. However, I don't think it's worth anywhere near $11,000. That was the trend I saw at the Ibanez booth. They're shooting for the lawyer and dentist crowd who are going to buy these guitars for the value and probably not play them. I have good news for you though. If you are a player, my favorite guitar from the Ibanez booth was the Tim Henson signature model. And I'm talking about the TOD10. Now I checked out the TOD10, it had some cool throwbacks to Steve Vai. If you look at the vine design all the way up the fretboard, taking inspiration from Steve's fretboard that he has, except for this one does have thorns on it. The guitar I checked out had a roasted maple neck. It was in silver. The pickups on this thing were absolutely insane. It comes with Tim Henson's signature Fishman Fluence pickups, so they are active pickups. All kinds of different configurations that you can set on this guitar. It was 24 frets, and the neck heel on this guitar is amazing. So going from the lower notes to the higher registers, it was seamless, it felt smooth. Pretty much one of the only guitars also at NAMM that you can take off the wall at the Ibanez booth. All the rest of the guitars had a lock on them, so they were pretty much locked to the display. Stuff like the Tim Henson model is gonna come in under $2,000. For those of us who are saving up, want a quality guitar, but you're not looking to tip that $2,000 mark, check out the TOD10 from Ibanez. Making it next on my list is Neural DSP. I went to the Neural DSP booth quite a bit. I played with their Quad Cortex. It's the first time I've actually had hands-on experience with the Quad Cortex. But what they were demoing for the Quad Cortex, which is new, was a beta version of the Cortex Control, which is the software you can use to program and control the Quad Cortex. I think as it stands now, there is no supported software, which is kind of mind-blowing that they would release something this expensive without having any kind of software support. However, I am happy to report the software worked great. It was very user-friendly. You can edit your banks extremely fast. You can save all of your configurations. There's all kinds of cool stuff you can do with the software. It is in beta. I'm not sure when it's coming out, but to see that being released after a few videos that I've seen online was highly criticizing Neural DSP for releasing the Quad Cortex without this software support and without having any kind of transfer between the plugins you have on your computer and the unit itself. It's really nice to see they're addressing some of the concerns from their consumers. And they also had some of the best performances on their stage. Hands down, that stage had the best sound at NAMM. I need to figure out what PA system they were using, but I can confirm all of the guitar tones in my previous video. It was the Quad Cortex. So if you're wondering, is this better than the Helix? Is it better than Fractal, Axe Effects, stuff like that? In my opinion, yes. I also saw the band Spiritbox the day after NAMM perform, and they were using Quad Cortex live as well at the Wiltern, which is almost 10,000 people packed in there. Sounded amazing. Worth your time and worth checking out. They're all in stock now too. I know there was a huge issue last year with getting the Quad Cortex in stock, but if you go over to Sweetwater, you can pick one up. I believe it's $1,800 to like $2,300. I'm not quite sure. I got to double check, but they are available and they are worth picking up. If you had any concerns about the software, good news, it's on the way. Moving on to the next brand, I'm going to talk about Dunable Guitars. So the DE series that Dunable has to offer are manufactured overseas, and they come in about half the price of their custom guitars. It pretty much has the exact same body design. It is a set neck that the Cyclops Custom has with the Dunable USA. It's just manufactured overseas and uses some cheaper components. This one I'm going to be doing a review of, hopefully soon, but I did replace the bridge, I replaced the pickups, I put in locking tuners. I did make a lot of upgrades on it because some of the stuff that came stock I thought was a little cheap. These come in around $1,100. So again, that's about half the price of a Dunable Custom. But what they were showing at NAMM is if you're into their Narwhal guitar, that is now going to be available in a DE setup. So you can look at spending around $1,200 and getting one of those. They're doing their Flying Vs in the DE format as well, so you can get a cheaper Flying V. And they had some custom USA models that are brand new, that being the Minotaur. I did have a chance to check that out. Had some really cool 70s kind of Doom vibes to it. It felt amazing, and after playing some of their USA models and directly comparing it to the DE models, I can tell you there's a big difference between this DE Cyclops and a custom Cyclops. This is a great guitar, don't get me wrong. I'm glad to have this. I love jamming on doom metal and all kinds of stuff using this guitar. But at some point I would love to lay my hands on a Dunable Custom. So coming up next on the list is Walrus Audio. So Walrus makes all kinds of really cool guitar pedals. They were known for some of their reverbs and delays, like their shimmer effects, which is really cool. But what they were showing off new for 2023 was their fundamental line. Now, what's cool about the fundamental line is it's all sliders. So if you're like me and you have, you know, a bunch of guitar pedals that have knobs on them, it's great, it's cool, but if you want to have the, you know, retro 70s kind of feel of having faders and using sliders instead of knobs, now's the chance. They have a full line of effects that they're going to be putting out with the sliders, so you can deck out your entire pedal board with sliders if you want. Aesthetically, it looks cool. I'm not really sure what big of a difference it makes while you're playing. But if you're in the market for a pedal with sliders on it and you want to have the full line, these are affordable, they sound great, and they will be coming to online retailers and stores in 2023. So moving along with the pedals, I have another brand that I wanted to highlight, Electro-Hamronix. They partnered up with JHS pedals and they have the Lizard Queen. What the Lizard Queen is a very retro-inspired octave and fuzz combination. So if you're looking to get that sound, and the good thing too is it is affordable, it only comes in around $99. So if you're looking for an octave and fuzz combo, this is only $100, 100% worth the money. I have one from Earthquaker Devices, but it was like $250. So if you're looking not to break the bank and get that really cool vintage Sabbath-y kind of sound, this is the way you're gonna do it. So the one thing I did notice at NAMM was there was not a lot of amps. There was very few amp manufacturers. Boutique Amp Distribution was actually there, who makes Synergy. I have a Synergy amp, and Friedman, Diesel, all that stuff. But they had a very small booth and they were only doing private deals. They didn't have any amps on display. They did have some amps in the back, but I think it was more for artists to test out. I did not go as an artist, I went as a media representative. So I did not get to put my hands on those. However, there was one brand that stuck out to me, and that's Ashdown Engineering. If you're not familiar with Ashdown Engineering, they're a really cool amp brand that has all kinds of retro aesthetics to it. They have these really cool audio gauge meters that look like they're from the 60s. So the amp that I tried out was the MF 484 2.N. I think that was the model. It's a 30-watt valve amp. What's really cool about this amp is they partnered with 2Notes. They're the brand that makes the attenuators and the amp sim technology, or the cab sims. So what's cool about this is it has the 2Notes torpedo built into the amp head. It is a valve-driven amp head and has some amazing cleans on it. It can also get into those rough, hard rock territories with some extra gain. It does have a programmable USB in and a charge port on it. So if you have any USB gear or lights or want to charge your phone while you jam, there's a USB charger on it, has MIDI in and out so you can program this thing, swap the channels, add effects. And this also has a headphone out. So if you want to jam silently, you can actually plug in your headphones directly to this amp. I thought it was really cool. It has one of those meters on the front, the gauge meters, so you can tell how loud you are. It'll definitely look cool on stage. It lights up. And they also had some pretty cool headphones too, which I filmed a little bit of me listening to them. They have some noise canceling headphones that had the audio gauge on the outside. And you're thinking, what the hell is the point of having the audio gauge on the outside? Well, if you have kids or if you work from home or if you're mixing and mastering in your home studio and people walk in, it'll tell them you're listening to music and they can see, okay, he's busy. Let's leave this guy alone. Plus it just looks cool. I'm moving on to the last brand on my list, and that is Solar Guitars. If you guys are familiar with Ola England, he has a very, very popular YouTube channel. He has this thing called Does It Chug? So he did have his Chug pedal there, which I got to check out. And something that really stuck out to me with this Chug pedal was, first off, it gets some really high gain tones out of it. So if you're looking for something for extreme metal, you want those really, really heavy saturated gain tones on there, it has it. But it also has an amazing noise gate built into it. Now, I don't think that was actually introduced at NAMM this year, but something that was introduced was the European Master Series that Ola brought with him. I got to play on that guitar. My buddy played on it. Compared to their overseas built guitars, the European Master Series is top notch. I would put it on par with Kiesel's Custom Shop. That was the closest thing, like an Aries is what I can put it to if you guys are familiar with Kiesel, or some of Ibanez's Japanese custom shops. I would put it on the same level. My 2 honorable mentions. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and give me a thumbs up, leave a comment below. What was your favorite piece of gear from NAMM 2023? And again, I did attend. I've been seeing a lot of videos of people giving their opinions on gear that was released at NAMM who didn't go. They didn't attend, they're just reading the spec sheets. I actually played all the gear, I held it in my hands, and this is my honest opinion to you guys. So until next time, I'm Michael. Thank you so much for watching. See ya.